this story in Chicago about the Cabbies. Chicago's local ground transportation situation in 2014 is FUBAR. And I will explain why it is FUBAR, and everybody who does, if you don't know what FUBAR is, just look it up. And here's why. Because CTA's got all kinds of problems, right? They're driving trains up escalators. They got other issues. You got now cabs in Chicago, which have been a very, very dominant force here, have over the years, it used to be basically a monopoly, right? You had Yellow and Checker running the whole deal.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they were the same guy, as it turned out, same family running them. And then you had a couple of other smaller companies that were trying to work their way in.
They had some sort of, it was either United or America or something involved in the name of it,
Right.
So you thought you were somehow being patriotic, American United National Cab Company, something like that.
And then the rideshare guys came in, and they were disruptors, as they like to say in Silicon Valley. They disrupted the economics of this by jumping in and you being able to use this technology on your smartphone to have a car pick you up with a guy who's, I don't know, then he's got a big pink mustache on the front of his car and doesn't seem to really have any idea. And you're getting into a
Let me clear all those wrappers out of the way for
right.
you, fast food wrappers and all that stuff. I saw one with bunny ears this weekend. I don't know if it was a special Easter mustache ride, but big giant bunny ears on the front. I seem to be a visual hazard for the driver as well.
Easter mustache ride sounds like a cardinal sin, doesn't it?
Oh, my goodness.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Anyway, so here, the point is this, that the cab driving business, the cab drivers themselves, have been arguing that even though some of these companies, Uber, for example, is created an opportunity for cab drivers to become a part of it. That's one of the rideshare companies. And you can hail an Uber cab if you want.
Right.
There's still not enough of it. And there's now been a unionization movement amongst the cab drivers. Peter Anger is secretary of the United Taxi Drivers Community Council here in Chicago. And Peter, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Now, how many cab drivers are there in Chicago?
That's an interesting question. There are roughly 11,000 chauffeur license holders. Normally, under normal conditions, you'd have 10,000 working cab drivers. Some of the other holders are just keeping it in reserve in case they ever want to make a little extra money.
Get back into the game. Yeah.
Currently, because of mismanagement by the city, there are over 1,000 taxi cabs sitting empty in parking lots all across the city for the last 2 years. I've got evidence. I'm taking pictures of them. And the owners will tell you that they have trouble finding drivers because there's low money and rapid turnover, and the city seems to be intent on removing older drivers because they want to rely on the newly arrived immigrant workforce, which is easily exploitable. And it hasn't really worked out. That's why they've been doing cab driver recruitment days at local city colleges to no avail, because who wants a job working 80 hours a week for less than minimum wage?
How long have you been on the streets doing this?
9 years.
There was a day are you from Chicago originally?
No.
Okay. There was a day more than a decade ago, in which the cab medallions, and that's the actual license on the cab itself, on the vehicle itself, that gives the cab the ability to be a cab, and along with all the other stuff that you got to do to make it a cab. But the medallion is the thing that's a very valuable item right there. And as the medallion holders were often either these guys from Yellow or Checker, or there were some other sort of private guys along the way that would pick up all these medallions. And they would there was a time in this town where flights would literally land at O'Hare's International Terminal, and there'd be guys waiting for the people getting off the plane to turn them into taxi to go get them their license and get them on the street. Sometimes not even get their license, just get them on as fast as possible.
That's still happening.
And it seems that doesn't seem like a particularly safe situation to me.
It's not a good situation. This city has made it extremely easy for someone to arrive here and even without knowing how to drive, and 6 months later to be driving a cab in the city of Chicago. We need massive reform in the industry here. This is one of the things the UTCC is calling for, is for the city regulators to sit down with the drivers themselves to figure out how to make a better system for all concerned. We're not opposed to the owners. We just don't want them taking more and more and more of our money without any return for us, you know? I mean, we're the only ones who bring money into the system, and we haven't gotten a raise in over 8 years now.
Well, I know with some of those drivers, too, you know, the cliche about the driver who's on his Bluetooth talking in some unidentifiable language the entire ride, it turns out they're actually getting directions from somebody who knows the city because they have no idea where they're going. So they're finding out, turn left, turn right, go this way, go that way.
Well, they should have a GPS for that, but you're probably right. On some occasions, that's probably true. When I was first driving a taxi, I didn't really need to know the way around the city because I'd been doing deliveries, but I would call my buddy and say, hey, where's a good place to pick up passengers? Where should I go next? You know, if you're new in the industry, it's really helpful to have somebody mentor you through the first couple of years until you know what you're doing and you can make some money.
All right.
There's a learning curve, you know? Like in any industry.
Yeah, so I think that is correct. All right, so what, let's talk about the unionization issue here, though.
Okay.
You've got, how many people do you have right now who are interested in joining a union?
Well, I would say every cab driver in the city of Chicago is interested in joining a union.
How many people have signed up with you to join the union?
Oh, probably between 300 to 400 over the 6 years we've been in business.
But you said there's 10,000 of them. Why would those other 9,600 not be interested?
Well, the nature of being a cab driver is that I got to work 70 to 80 hours a week. What kind of time do I have to go out and recruit and sit down and explain and take an application and talk people out of putting up $120 for a year-long membership? The only thing hampering our organizing efforts is putting boots on the ground or people on the ground, organizers out in the field that can go and solicit the drivers to sign up. And any driver that I've ever asked, are you ready to join, has said yes. Was I ready to take their money and sit down with them for half an hour to process them? No. So one of the benefits of forming this unionizing effort with New York and the New York taxi workers and joining the national is that we'll free up some funds so we can take some of our membership out of our cabs. We can recruit some organizers from other unions to help us recruit the membership and just sign them up and get the numbers up. You know, all we need is 1,000 to officially affiliate with the National Taxi Workers Alliance, which is an affiliate of the AFL-CIO. And that should happen within 8 or 9 months.
And what would you be a separate standalone union, or you'd be part of this National Taxi Alliance?
Well, cab drivers are notoriously independent. We want our own standalone union, and that is what we're going to get. Mm-hmm. The New York taxi workers are kind of the model we've been following for the last 5 or 6 years, ever since we formed here in Chicago. And they were offered several different options to be a local within some other union, and they refused those offers because we want our own national organization of cab drivers.
You know what the fear is going to be here, though, Peter, is that it's from the consumer side, is that the prices are going to go up and the availability is going to go down.
Well, you know, I talk to a lot of my passengers, almost every one of them, and they know that we get less money, and they're already paying more. If you're using Uber or Halo, and by the way, I want to make a differentiation between e-hail apps, which is using a phone to call a cab. Halo and Uber are the main ones who do that, and the ride shares, which are something completely different and which need massive amounts of regulation if we don't regulate them out of the business, because what it's going to do is flood the market with unlimited amounts of taxis and makes the medallions become actually worthless, you know? So the owners are not really happy about that. But the fact of the matter is people are already paying more when they use an e-hail or a rideshare, not a rideshare, but the e-hail. They're already paying the $1.50 extra that Uber or a Halo.
And the cab driver's not getting that action.
No. There's a fee on top of that. For the option of choosing the e-hail a cab, you have to pay a $1.50 fee. And, you know, we pay like something like 2 or 3%, which is better than the companies, the cab companies give us for taking credit cards. They take 5% of our money when we accept a credit card.
All right. Thanks very much, Peter. Appreciate it.
That's it?
Yep, that's it.
Oh, that's more than
traffic and weather. You might want to stay tuned and listen to this part. That might help you in the cab.